Here we go. Give you an idea. And you can see I'm above the water, or above the levelness. I mean, I could even drop this down just a tad, and I might. Um, and I'll do it while I'm running, so people don't say, "Hey, you went too low." And I just did too low. Um, and again, I want to get it right at that edge, and I think that's pretty good right there. And look at even the diffraction, the refracted light coming off the water. It's going to be hard to see exactly where that goes. Um, but there you go, that's this. And then, like I said, what I'm going to do is squirt some water in here, create a wave, and see how that works. Bugs in the water, or tree branches too falling out. And what I did was squirt some water in. It's rolling down to the other end, and then it's going to kind of roll back, like creating a slosh in the water. But look at how that. Okay. Yeah, I really do hope people watch this and really learn from it, because I think it's important that we do take our observations into account and look at the little, pay attention to the small details too that occur, like the the difference in the refraction. That, look at that. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. And what I'm going to do too is I'm going to go right to the middle of my gutter, and I'm just going to like do a couple of shots of water right in the center. And I can't get to see the reaction of it until I walk back here and look. And then again, you can see a little bit more of the effects. Now, what if I'm zoomed back some and do that same thing? Um, and this water is really calm in here. There's hardly any wind blowing right now, so everything's nice and calm. So let me just back out a little bit. And look at the diffraction line. And I call it a reflection line. The light's being cast up back above. It's scattering the light. And it's actually causing a ramp effect. But, we can just, I mean, people can look at this any way that they want, and, you do your own research on light diffraction and angular resolution, convergence, and everything, and you see what you come up with. Again, I'm going to actually, I'm going to squirt some water back toward my camera, if you can hear me. Like I said, after I did the filming and then looked at it on my computer, I saw a lot more details than what I saw while I was actually doing the filming. And then how about the other way again? Well, actually, we got a little ripple still going on down there. It's so hot out here, man. It's got me just sweating, sweating, sweating. Alright, let me try it again this way. I'm going to shoot it down here. Again, waves. You can use it as waves or a rolling tide, swells. And you can see it's cutting things off. You know, bottom of the boats, the hulls, even buildings at the far end, you know, they're going to give you this appearance that they're getting cut off, but they're really not. You're resolving that water line that's closer to you, or that wave or that swell, and it is actually creating issues for you. Optical issues that you cannot get away from. I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit more. And I'm going to actually smack the water. Try to create a wave. And see if you see any difference. Or how about even some drips of water? We'll drop some droplets of water in it. Now I got this this little light too that I'm gonna stick down there where the boat is, or my make-believe boat. Let me make sure I can get it to turn on, and I hope I don't get it wet. I got it on. And hopefully you can see that. It is sitting up quite a bit higher as far as the light goes. It's like a, I don't know, it's this little ball with magnets on it, and I can stick it, you know, on a wall, or, you know, anywhere metal, a cabinet, metal shelving, you know, and aim it, you know, like under a hood, you know, if I want to see something. And again, here's, let's do a wave on it. And see how that changes things. And again, I could probably drop my camera down a little low if I wanted to, but I'm not. But what I'd like to do is just back out just a tad bit. Go in just a little bit more. And do the same thing again. Let's Put a lot of water in there this time. You know, the tides move in quite a long ways in, long ways out. So it'll give you a little bit of an idea. Now that light is sticking up. I'm going to take my cell phone down there and show you that light's sticking up quite a ways. I kind of accidentally put this in on the last video, and it was actually meant for my B700 footage. So thank God it was only about a minute and 50 seconds long, and it wasn't a big long video. All right, back to the regular audio. All right, being that you can't hear me right now for a little bit, you know, just check out how the light itself is being pulled down, not up. It's being pulled down toward the water. And you can also kind of see this diffraction line with what looks like little round circular, well, and then they disappear. All right, so I'll get back to the regular audio now. And then what if I zoom it in a little bit? See that light down there. Zoom it in a little bit more. And then let me bring it right here. My other camera's catching the back of my head. And I'm lowering it down, lowering it down, lowering it down. A little too low and got out of focus. Alright, sorry about that. My big fat head's in the way. I was actually finishing up that video with my cell phone. You've seen it in part one, right at the very end. And I actually did get in front of my camera here, which I apologize for that. A myth about standing up and being able to see the sun again. It's just parallel lines. You'll see farther because you're rising up. You're increasing your height. You're not looking over the curve. They want you to think that you're looking over the curve. Come on, people. And you got common sense. Use it. All right. Again, I'm thinking of trying to do different ways. I might even try to take my camera further back away from this. And also look at how the gutter actually looks like it's dropping off right there almost. And if I zoom back, okay. Again, look at how that looks like it's getting pinched off, and the further back it goes. That's why I say if I move my camera way farther back and then zoom in on it and then zoom back out, it almost looks like the opening in the back part of this thing will actually almost close, pinch off, and compress that opening. That opening is getting compressed right now because you can obviously see the opening at this end is much bigger than the other end, but they're equal sizes. They're the same at both ends. How about now? I know a lot of people have a hard time seeing this and then still tell me that I'm below. So if I'm below it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise up just a little bit more. And now the problem is finding it. Alright, the noise you're hearing is my air conditioner unit. It's a wall unit and it is loud right outside. But again, I kind of differ with people. And you can even see my pipes the T's are pretty much equal. what you got to do though is take into consideration the one is farther away, so it is going to look like it drops a little bit. You see they're pretty much lined up, so if they're lined up, I'm pretty much lined up with the bottom of that. But you know, hey, let's not be frivolous over a little quarter of an inch. So let's go ahead and raise it up a little bit more. Actually, that was about a half an inch. Okay, and I'm oh shoot, a good 60 feet away, and there you go. And what happens when I zoom back? Okay. I am a little bit closer to this one side. I'm not exactly in the center. So let me try to center the gutter. Let me slide it over a little bit if I can. Mother Nature's doing a little bit of rumbling too, so I'm not going to be able to spend much more time out here. But what I'm going to do is zoom in here, right to there. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm higher, because look at the pipe in the back. It will be usually lower because it's farther back. You can see the top of well, actually that's a PVC T, 1-inch T. It should be either level or down a little bit. And I'm going to try to drop it just a tad bit to match them up. See how that worked out. Yeah, see, I'm still above, just slightly above. And still. Alright, you know what? I'm going to take that right there. I'm going to take that. Just leave it at that. Now let me get this centered. Now I'm going to go add some water, make a wake in the water. Alright, the hard part about doing this is, you know, when you're just doing it by yourself, you know, I got to walk down there and squirt water in this gutter, and I don't get to see what's going on at my camera. You know, so it is always better to have, you know, a help, some kind of help, somebody else doing something for you, or, you know, watching the camera themselves. I mean, I don't care which part I do, as long as you know, somebody's able to say, hey, you know, that looked good, you know, or try this or try that, you know, give me some ideas to do, because I can't see what's going on. Like right here, you know, I think I just hit it with way too much water at that point. Um, but then again, you know, you do get to see these how this water is moving in the gutter, and you also get to see it pouring out the other end, because I put a large amount of water in that. You know, I really do these basically for myself, but you know, I also agree with, you know, sharing some of my observations and some of my little tests, because I think it helps all of us see certain things that other people might not see, and then other people do see. And that's why I really would like to have people comment on this. If you're a Globe person, I don't mind you commenting as long as you keep it civil and you're not doing the insulting remarks. And I mean, even some of them that say, "Hey, look, I'm being civil," but then they have like these cocky ass remarks, and that it kind of irks you, and then you don't want to even talk to them because it's really kind of a waste of time. Like I had a guy, I think his name was Thunderbolt 2. He'll come on and demand me to answer what causes an EM field. Wow, really? I told him to Google it, um, because if he really didn't know, he should Google it himself, find out for himself, and then he comes back, with a smart ass request or smart ass answer saying that I didn't know what an EM field or what created an EM field. Really? Man, that's so easy to do. Just ask your smartphone. It'll tell you what the scientific explanation of it is. Now, is that really what causes an EM field? Well, I think their explanation is kind of correct to a certain extent, but I'm not going to believe everything that somebody tells me. Not even some of the flat earthers, they'll tell you something, and I guess you're expected to just believe it because it was a flat earther that told you it. But listen, this is where we all got to think for ourselves, and we all got to do our own research into the matter. And you find out for yourself if that's what you want to believe. That's fine with me. But if I don't accept it, then you should not be trying to force me to believe it. All right, because I'm not going to accept it, especially when I've done my research for it, and I did not find anything in my research that would support it. So I just leave it at that. I'm not going to go any further. Now here's where I take my laser light, and I'm just kind of just shining it around here because I wanted to see what the effects were, and you can see kind of some of the effects right there. How the light is being pulled toward the water or toward the edges. And somebody could say, well, that's miraging, but is it or isn't it? I mean, I can look at it both ways, but that's what I do these observations for, is to look at all the small, finer details in it and try to make sense out of it. Because we can go round and round and round and never get anywhere. But when you start observing certain things, and then you should be able to discuss it with open-minded people without other people getting insulted or getting angry or arguing with you over who's right, who's wrong. Because who knows, we both can be right at the same time, and then again we both could be wrong. So in turn, I'm open-minded, but again, I don't want somebody shoving something down my throat that I'm not going to accept. And I'm not going to get into the details of it. I was kind of not really in an argument, but in a disagreement with, I believe he subscribes to my channel. But I'm not going to go into the details of it because, he has his way of thinking and I have my way of thinking. But we do need to be careful on what we promote and what we support, because I think that could lead us down more dead end roads than anything. And then again, here, okay, let me get off that subject because that's a divide, and I don't want to divide people. But let's get into this. I mean, you can see by me moving my camera farther back the differences and what happens with this boat. With just the same amount of water in it, and pretty much at the same level. I believe I'm pretty much at the same level, but more of the boat gets cut off, and I believe this is what we see when we're out over the water. The farther the boat gets away, the more the bottom of the hull appears to be cut off. And it's only an appearance, it's an illusion, it's an optical illusion due to our angular resolution to the object, the boat, the buildings, whatever. So in turn, we're looking at this. I'm banging on the bottom of it, trying to get the water to vibrate. And I'm actually almost ready to knock the make-believe boat off the other end. But like I said, I'm always trying to try to get some different effects on it. So in turn, I even stuck a stick there, thinking, well, that should show something. But as you notice, the edge of that water is not in focus, but what's above is in focus. So in turn, that is, you could call it kind of a lensing effect, possibly, or you could just call it light diffracting up and cutting off the lower hull of the boat. Again, I wanted to get other people's opinions of what's going on, and I think I got a glitch here in my video because it all of a sudden stopped. It's not going, and there it goes. So I hope this comes out. Well, that's strange. So I'm gonna have to shut her down after this little part and see what see how the audio came out right in that last part right there. All right, so I'm going to center this thing again, and then there's another part to this video. But let me check my audio first on this, and before I go any further, to make sure that it wasn't really all messed up. That's at full zoom. Focus on the boat. And I'm going to go get some water in it again one last time. Actually, I'm going to drop a stick in front and show you how something that's closer will get resolved. And watch this. When I drop the stick in front of there, it's not going to resolve it because that edge is out of focus, and that, like I said, that could be what's causing things to get cut off at the lower hull, or the lower ends of the building. It could be just because you can't be focused in on everything. That edge, the farther out you go, it could be causing this blockage to where you're not seeing it. But as I get down here a little further, watch how this stick reacts too. So it could actually be getting, kind of pulled down due to that angular resolution. Refraction, I think, can work both ways. And the reason I'm turning the plastic at the other end is to give you a different angle view of it, because all these boats that I film them, on the side. I film them going away from me. I film them at all different angles. So I get different views of the ship, different angles of the ship or the boat. A lot of them are shrimp boats or crab boats. And, they're not little boats. Some of them are not huge boats, but some of them are big boats. The crab boats are usually the bigger boats out of all of them. And again, here we go with the water. And like I say, if you got a wave, and consistent waves going back and forth, start building up certain effects that really kind of can throw you off. Okay, I kind of forgot where I was at because I was looking for a message that I was talking to a friend of mine on Skype, and he brought up some good things that I asked him if he didn't mind if I used, and he said no, use them, because it was a great explanation of how waves. We catch the tops of each one of these little waves, and as they build in front of us, they create this mirage effect that actually it's a continuation. It's like looking over a bumpy road, and at the tops of all the bumps, there's this little mirage line, mirage line, mirage line, and they slowly build up to create a blockage that we cannot see the waves and swells from our angle or angular resolution. So again, we don't see those waves, but we see all the tips of them, and that buildup is actually causing a blockage of our view, our vision, our line of sight gets obscured by all these little mirage lines that build up. And if you ever noticed in my videos, you don't never see waves or swells out there. You see little ripples, but you don't see the waves and swells. And then on the days we have high miraging, a lot of light in the sky, creating this miraging, um, and the way the water reflects the light, I kind of think that that's what causes the miraging. Um, it does obscure our vision to keep us from actually seeing truly what's out there. Because again, like I said, on a lot of my videos, you can see where the mirage line is cut off at about a mile, actually a little less than a mile and a half away. Um, and then on other days, you can see these boats clearly, 6 to 10 miles away. How is that? Um, I do have some footage that I wanted to share of, boats about 5.5 miles away from Pine Island. I did share some footage of that, but I did not share, I think, some of the best footage I got from it. All right, well, I'm going to conclude this, and again, I'd appreciate any comments, positive comments. It's okay to have a negative comment, but not the insulting comments that we all see and we're all used to, because they are very disturbing, especially when they're violent ones. All right, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, and share.